necessarily on a sometimes bumpy road toward 2%. I don't think that story has changed. I also don't think that those readings added to anyone's confidence that we're moving closer to that point. But we didn't.
Hey Chris, how's it going, man?
Say is we didn't excessively celebrate the good inflation readings we got in the last 7 months of last year. We didn't.
Hanging in there.
Take too much signal out of that. What you heard us saying
crazy stuff, man.
That we needed to see more.
I've got about 17 grand in profits running right now, so decision. Eyes on the prize.
What is your so you're still, you've got your options set up, right? You're looking. Yep, you want to run us through it really quick? We could share your screen if you want.
Sure. I just got filled on a limit for my DIA, which is my Dow Jones ETF. I got filled on it was just $1 credit. I'll share my screen. Hang on a second here, boys.
Okay.
Share. Here it is. Here's the broker platform coming at you. So currently sitting up around 18.5 in profit, and still watching and monitoring, obviously, still have positions. So I had a 447 debit on the DIA. I put in a limit at 547. So $1 net out of the 447 just closed out for 22% profit on the DIA. If I do a quick spot check, I'm trying to close this pesky little XSP. This thing turns out to be pretty darn illiquid, which is making me a little unhappy. I've got it running right now. It's showing a mid of $1.40 to $1.50. It's all over the place. I'm trying to get this stupid thing filled, but the bid price is so much lower. I mean, my break even's like $1.25.
Chris, can you make your screen bigger?
I can. Yep. I like to keep it small so I can just see as much real estate as possible, but I get it for the demo. It's easier to see if I zoom in. So right now I'm showing see this is the XSP. Like the natural fill's at 44 cents, the mid's at $1.04 to $1.40 to $1.70. It's all over the place. So I've got a fill at $1.75. We're getting close to that squeeze level. I got a gamma squeeze at 522 that I'm watching. I've got to be getting close to getting that thing filled, man. If it doesn't get filled, I'll be super bummed. I guess what I could do is just try to switch this up really quickly to, if you don't mind, let me just zoom out for a second. I'm going to see if I can just modify this to $1.50 and just take the trade off. And it's going to be like 25 cents a contract, which is not what I want, but I also want to close out the trade and be protective of my profits. So let me quickly run through these accounts, and I'm just going to modify this to replace and see if I can do $1.50 and see if that will fill.
While you do that, Chris, I'll take over for a second. I just wanted to update on the gold positioning. The trade that I talked about here. Let me share my screen too. I'm missing it.
Yep.
Share screen here. So I mentioned I'm long gold. Gold is making a move here. Of course, loving the idea of rate cuts still in the picture. So my long trade is doing all right here. We're up on both positions, both the initial buy and the second buy. Stop is trailed. Silver is monstering right now. Look at that. Stop trailed up to this point, but just really ripping here today. Really cool to see that. And here's the reason why, guys. If you want to know what the reason behind the metals market making a move, it's all about the yields. Yields are coming down on the 2-year aggressively. Gold absolutely loves that, because gold is saying, well, not gold is, but the traders who are watching gold are saying, look at this. We're seeing expectations for rate cuts staying in line. Market is liking it too. Here's the S&P 500 cusping through the highs here. NASDAQ coming up and retesting those highs as we speak. Dow is through those highs, as Chris just talked about with his DIA trade. That is, of course, an ETF that tracks the Dow Jones spot or the futures. Is another option. There's many ways to trade this thing, but the Russell, loving this latest news, because of course an interest rate sensitive area of the market, and of course the one that doesn't love it is the dollar index. Dollar index rejecting off of this area of resistance around 104, 103.5, also acting as resistance, it seems like here, and selling off intraday. Kind of some craziness here, Chris. I mean, we saw. The dot plot came out, still thinking 3 rate cuts on the table. I was kind of wrong about that. I thought we might see indications of 2, but hey, I'll take it. I got my gold long trade, and I'll continue to wait on the sidelines for the S&P to pull back.
Well, and that's the thing. So I'm looking at this, right? I mean, the Qs were probably the most vulnerable index this week, as far as if we break this floor around 433, Qs are certainly vulnerable to the downside. we still have a couple days left. We're right in the heat of FOMC today. I'm looking at the market just kind of pumping back up here, but the Qs are well off the all-time highs. The DIA is ripping through the highs, and that's fine. The SPY is retesting. We actually poked all-time highs again today and this week, and the SPX also up to fresh highs. So it's an interesting split between, now the NASDAQ is kind of I'd say the lagger, but it also catches up the quickest. I'm curious what the most important stock of the world is doing. Here's NVIDIA, 896. This week, let's look at today in NVIDIA. I'm just curious what it's doing. Look at this. All this noise in the market. NVIDIA is dead flat. So
Interesting.
I can see why the Qs are lagging a little bit. SPY up. You said the Russell's taking a rip, which is pretty exciting. Nice. Very nice on the Russell. I've got some in the money calls on the Russell. You said SLV is running hot. Awesome.
Yeah, Frank's got a play on silver.
How's your Iron Condor doing, Frank?
It's doing well. I don't want it to go too far, but as long as it stays below 24, I'll be okay. But it can't go below 2270 something. So
22. Yeah. Okay.
But that's by Friday.
Right. Okay. So I've got an in the money call at 20, and I've got a 26 that I sold against it. So if we get a rip on SLV, directionally, I would happily take this off. I mean, I've got 10 contracts long. I think I did the math on this. My debit on SLV, let me search it in my little tracker here. So my break even's $3.94. If I get called away at $6, I'll do the math here. So $6 minus $3.94, $206 on 1,000 shares. I'll make $2,000 per this whole account. So this would probably be like 16 to 17 grand on SLV if it gets called away, which means if we rip above 26, I'll look to re-enter. I'll play some more synthetics, but I'm looking at, SLV. If we get a measured move, I think I already have this on my chart. SLV, I've got this boxed in. I've got this measured. So symmetry is all the way up here towards 32. So I'm looking at, and again, I'm not trying to, time this, but this is my direction. We get above this area. I want to be directionally bullish, and I'm trying to give myself enough time as far as trading the options. And I would be pretty keen on going up to 32 to 32.76 as far as my profit goes. We obviously go a lot higher than that, which is not a bad thing. But again, I just want to make sure confirmation is everything. If we don't have confirmation there, then this is still potentially range bound. And maybe today is just a bunch of noise. So that's what we're kind of waiting to see is, the market doesn't seem to care, guys. The market doesn't care about what the Fed's saying. The market doesn't care about, it's like the market expected 6 or 7 cuts. They're not getting any of those. They're getting 2 to 3. Now they're confirmed they're getting 3. Doesn't care about higher inflation. Doesn't care that the BOJ to switch from.
Yeah.
Right. It's like
it's the AI trade. That's the thing.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
AI trade is just the whole thing for the market right now. And what is kind of interesting though, Chris, is you mentioned, NVIDIA flat on the day, and yet market's still ripping. So kind of crazy, but trade it while it's going on, I guess, and I'm fine with the rate cut story staying intact. I mean, it's kind of interesting here because market kind of must have been thinking, Chris, that rate cuts could get narrowed to 2, because you can clearly see that when we look at yields in gold. I mean, look at gold, beautiful breakout here, just clean snap to the upside. And that is clearly, this is one of the more pure markets. If you want to talk about rate cuts, there's too many, there's extra variables when you're talking stock indices, but when you're talking commodities, when you're talking bonds, it's a lot simpler in regards to that. Right now, we see gold and silver making their moves here off of the idea that rate cuts are still expected. Jerome Powell's still in line with 3. I think a lot of the market participants, myself included, figured we could potentially see some cold water get thrown on that idea, but market's kind of cheering this a little bit, and we'll see where it takes us. But dollar index down. I mean, the dollar, look at this. Here's your 4-hour chart. That is a pretty strong sell candle, breaking this kind of win streak that we've been on. But it's also early, Chris. I mean, there's a lot of people will say that there's a 1, 2, 3 move with these sorts of events. There's the snap initial movement, and there's during the press conferences, the second one, and the third one is usually the following day. So we'll have to see where if this move is sustained or if there's any sort of reversal. But I'm happy with gold making this move here today. I'll probably look to trail a stop a little bit further into profit today.
For sure. And also, one thing you could do on the dollar, I mean, I had a dollar basket trade running that the strength pretty much got me back to neutral. So I was in early. I got in the dollar basket prematurely, like early last week. So I kind of wrote out some of these positions. I didn't double down or anything. And I was in basically when this was going down here, I went long the dollar basket, and some trades, like I was positive on the Kiwi. I was upside down in the pound a little bit. I had about minus 20, minus 10, plus 50, plus 20. It was essentially finished flat. But like I said, I got in early. I told traders this morning in my room, it's like, I'm just glad I'm out. I'm glad I'm out of the dollar index. Let's let the dust settle. I mean, I'm more interested in what the stock market's going to do. I mean, I think there's bigger movements ahead and a little bit more clarity on. Look, we're pressing again to all-time highs today. We're pushing this week. One thing I'm going to watch for on the SPY is, does this have enough to get us like a $10 to $11 move on the week? Because right now we're trading at 519, and the low of the week is 511. The close last week was just under 510. So I'm looking for this $10, $11 move on the upside. If we get there, then my SPY position that I have out to Friday should be totally fine. If I just go into one account to simplify the review, I'll go in a little bit larger here. But basically, I'm looking at this. I've got a 512 by 525, and then I've got the put side as well. So I need this to be trading up. This actually is in profit by about 60 or 70 cents at the moment. I'm going to see. We're not there yet. I'm going to see if we can hit 520 today on the SPY. We're just shy of that big gamma level. It's really darn close. But a nudge to 520 or even a push tomorrow. I mean, I don't know what the language would entail for tomorrow to be like, nope, everything you saw today is going to be completely eroded outside of the fact that it's March and end of quarter, maybe profit taking. But that could also go into next week as we have the expiration on Thursday, the 28th. So I'll see what it does. But if we hit 520 today before closing bell, I will probably close this trade out. I'm in this debit for 673, so I could close this out. I mean, again, I'm probably gonna do this right now. I'm in for 673. I'm gonna put a profit in at 773 and just put this in. So if I go 7.73 and put that in good till canceled, I'm gonna just issue this. So if you want to grab the screen, you can take it. I'm just gonna put these in to close out and see if I can grab another dollar out of these positions.
I was gonna say, Chris, while you're working on that, we're getting called to battle here, so we might we're gonna do our quick transition phase. For those of you guys who are watching and hadn't heard already, we're coming in hot here. We're about to do a trading battle. I'm actually going up against a friend of mine, Boris, and Chris is going to be the moderator here. So really, really quick, we're going to just take a quick break. You're going to just reset the stream. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Just go grab some popcorn, a drink, whatever, and we will be right back for the trading battle. It's going to be super fun. So stick around, coming in just after this.